Hey folks, I'm Mike. Do you hate ads? I hate ads. You know what I like? Patreon.com/Inkdependence. It keeps this blog ad-free. Hello folks and welcome to Inkdependence.com. Today we're taking a look at this pen, or I guess the pen that's in this box. This is a platinum pen. It's going to be a 3776. This is the Platinum Century, and this is one of their, it's not a limited edition, it's kind of a special edition, I guess we should say. Let's take this box and toss it over here. This is the blue box that these pens come in. They are unadorned with names or what have you, just a nice blue box. Let's see, this is the opening side, and there we go. Inside it says Platinum. It's got the Since 1919 Japan for your writing pleasure, and then a bunch of stuff. This pen doesn't have the typical pillow where you can hide stuff underneath, so they just sort of pile it on top. So we have the user manual, which has all kinds of information about how to fill pens and their slip and seal cap technology, which we'll take a look at here in a little bit. I'll take that and put that over there. This is the warranty card, which I've actually not filled out. I probably ought to do that. These are some plastic sleeves that things were in before I took them out of it. And then this is interesting. This is the 3776 Century Oshino card. So this is not a limited edition. It is like a partially numbered edition. So the first 3,000 of these, as you see right here, this is 2118 out of 3,000. The first 3,000 of these are numbered on this card, and they send this little card out, and they say you can use the back as a blotter, but I don't know who's actually going to do that. They're probably just going to save the card. So this is the indication that you've gotten one of the first 3,000, as I did. So thanks, Tom, for sending me one of the first 3,000. After that, the 3,000 number, they're just going to stop including this card, and this pen will be a normal part of the Century line. This is part of the Lakes series. I'm not actually sure which number this is. Let me see if it says. Nope, I'm not actually sure which number in the Lakes series this is. Probably like, I don't know, 3 or 4 at least. They did a clear one a while ago, and I cannot remember the name of that one, and I didn't look it up, but I think it was like 5 or 7 years ago, and it started with an M, and I've seen it, and it looks a lot like this one. There are, however, some differences, and we'll go over how to tell those two apart if you have to in the wild. So let's go ahead and put this aside. You get also a cartridge and a converter. I've got the converter in there because I'm a converter fan. I believe this has Robert Oster's Melon Tea in it at the moment. It also comes with this little tag on the clip telling it's like shop stuff. I'm not actually sure what the rest of that says. It says it's a broad nib. And it's got a little barcode. We'll put that back in there. In fact, let's put all this back in there. Okay, stick that over here. And here, let's look at this pen. This pen is nicely transparent. I really like the clarity of this pen, and that's the thing they said they were going for on this card, is they're focusing on transparency and clarity, and this has really got it. Now you'll see it's a little bit smokier up here, or hazier up here where they have the cap seal. We'll look at that in just a sec, but you've got a little bit of like a, I don't know, prismy sort of effect down here, which is very nice. But this is all completely smooth, unlike some of the others, like this one. This is the Nice Pure, and it has the design on the outside, and you can feel the roughness, and there's a little bit of like edges and this sort of thing. And I actually really like that about the Nice Pure, but I know some people really dislike the ridges and that sort of thing. So if you're one of those folks, get yourself an Oshino and you won't have any of those ridges, but you do have like nice transparency. Now there are some things that they've changed about this pen over time, so let's zoom in and take a look at some of those. Okay, so we're in here closer, and the thing that is common to these 3776s, and I haven't reviewed these on the blog, although I use them in reviews all the time, is the slip and seal cap. So if I take this off, take this cap off, and then screw it back on, watch this spring at the top. You'll see it kind of compresses. The last, I don't know, quarter turn or so actually works that cap seal and compresses the spring. So this is their slip and seal cap technology, and they say that it will go for a year or something without drying out your nib. And that's pretty true. These pens have a great cap seal, and I am a huge fan of a good cap seal, as y'all know, because a bad cap seal means your ink dries out, and when you have a bunch of pens inked like I do, that's real bad because you know, it's just a pain when you go to write with a pen and it doesn't work. The Platinum doesn't have that problem because of this awesome cap seal. So you don't find that in too many other pens, maybe any other pens, I'm not actually sure. The other things that are new and different about this is that it has the mountain motif inside the finial. You can see the clear, actually when I move this, it's kind of hard to see the top of that cap, but there is the regular dome cap like the rest. Let's see, is it in this one? No, it's not in this one. So this is the Nice Pure, and you can see this one just has a nut on the end, whereas this one has this little shiny chrome mountaintop built into the finial. So that's a different thing. The other thing to notice, and you can actually see it on these two pens as well, so this is good. Good job, Mike. Is that this is given a sort of 3D effect in the etching. The words and all that sort of jazz actually stand out from the cap band, whereas these are smooth and incised. So that's a very different sort of feel, and actually looks quite a bit different when you get right down to it. This is shinier, whereas this has more depth and 3D-ness to it. Also, so is this one numbered? Yeah, so this one, yeah, so on the Nice Pure, which is this one right here, you can see at the very top that it is actually numbered. This one is number 766 out of 2000 on the Nice Pure. On the Oshino, as you can see, there is no numbering there on the cap. So I do wish that they had just gone ahead and engraved it. And maybe it was a judgment call on like the artist's side that said, no, if you do that, it'll be disruptive to this whole like smooth, clean cap design. But I don't know. I feel like you could have done it, and that it would have looked good. Sorry, there's a garbage truck going down my street and it freaked me out. All right. Let's see. What else do we need to talk about this pen? It is obviously a cartridge converter pen. It has a 14 karat gold nib, as you can see here. 14K, relatively unadorned. You got this mountaintop motif going on here. It says 14K. This is a broad. The platinum broad is actually fairly fine-ish. It's like a, I don't know, I'd say it's kind of like a Western medium, although maybe a little bit bigger than a medium, maybe a little bit smaller, depending on your medium and the ink and all that sort of jazz. But they run fairly small, and they run on a little bit on the dry side, I would say. I've got, I don't know, 5 of these, maybe 6, and they're all a little bit on the dry side, except for the music nib, which is definitely not. You can see the cartridge and converter and all that sort of jazz in here through the barrel. It does have a rhodium plated, or I guess just maybe just silver converter. Some of them come with gold, and that would look funky with this pen, so they put a silver one in there. I think that's good thinking. Here's another thing to notice, and that is that the section, the grip section right here, is fully transparent, so you can see all the way through it, and this is just a friction fit nib and feed and such, so you can see the nib and feed. Now, this does lead some people to think that their pen might be, I don't know, defective or leaky or some such thing, because they can see ink in the section. It's like covering the back of the nib. You can see like little pockets of air and all that sort of thing in here, but there's ink all around it. And so some people say, oh no, my nib it's going to leak. It's okay. A fountain pen is a controlled leak at all times, and it's supposed to do that. Just you can't usually see it, so don't worry about that. It's supposed to be that way. If there wasn't ink in here, you wouldn't be getting ink out of here. Okay. Oh, it has a little heart-shaped breather hole too. Isn't that cute? Okay, so that's the quick look at this pen and the overview. Let's look at it next to a bunch of other pens and like talk specs and that sort of thing, and do a writing sample and get out of here. Okay, hold on just a sec. Okay, so here are a bunch of other pens that are kind of close, either in size or price or both. These 4 are all platinum centuries and of different styles. We have the Bourgogne, which is just a burgundy. We have the Shungyo, which is a cranberry. This is the Nice Pure, and this is the Oshino. These 2 are platinums that I just picked up. I put them in here because they're platinums. I don't really know how they how they match in terms of like price or whatever, because I got them at auction, and so you never know. I just kind of guessed and paid a price that I thought was okay. Over here are some pens that are fairly close. This is the Custom 74 from Pilot, which is pretty close. It's a bit longer. The clip is different. I actually like the platinum clip a lot better. This ball at the end is kind of weird. But also a very good pen. You've got the Lamy 2000. Next to that, I've got here the Diplomat Aero in their machine or factory finish. This is the Faber-Castell Ondoro, and a Franklin Christoph Model 2, just to round it out and give us some variation. These pens are all in the vague price range, and the reason I say vague price range is because you'll find these Century 3776s at all kinds of price ranges. I've seen them online as low as 80. Some of the editions go up to like 250. I know the misrip for the Oshino here is $240, but you'll find the street price being around 190, 195. I've seen 192. So you get all kinds of prices here. These are all over the place. So the reason that the price is all over the place is because dealers have to charge a particular price in the US. So if you're a licensed dealer of platinum, that means you have to charge the price that they dictate to you. So if you get one off of Amazon or whatever, I'm not sure if warranties apply. They're definitely not using the US prices. If it's like $80, there's no way that US distributors can keep up with that. So, you know, I know it's a few extra bucks, but do your local dealers a favor and maybe, you know, shell out the extra bucks to keep platinum around here. Or, you know, it's up to you. I'm not gonna tell you how to spend your money, but be aware that prices fluctuate wildly. And so these are all over the place as well. The cheapest one here is probably, I don't know, either the Ondoro or the Arrow or this one. They're all over the place, man. These are in the same like ballpark. So here we have some stats. All right, so the Oshino, and these are my calipers measurements that may be off by just a touch. I was checking them against measurements on other vendors' sites, and they're pretty close, although they might be off by like a 10th or a 100th or something. So this one says, my caliper says 5.49 inches. It's listed at 5.5 everywhere else, so, you know, maybe I'm off by a 100th or something, but you know, maybe user error, but this is going to be in the general ballpark. So 5.5 inches capped, uncapped 4.71, posted right about 6 inches. This is actually the extent of my caliper. And then the pocket depth is 5.05 inches. And what I mean by pocket depth is this. Somebody mentioned that it would be a good thing to show how deep a pocket you would need to have in order to carry this pen in a shirt pocket. And that is a great idea. So I'm going to start doing that. And that is the length from the end here to the top inside of the clip. And as you can see here, the capped and the pocket depth are not terribly far off. It's about 1/2 inch here-ish. So yeah, about there we go, about 1/2 inch. So yeah, so about 5 inches is what you'll need to have for a pocket depth to carry one of these in a pocket well. So there you go. The nib, as I said, is 14 karat gold, body clear resin, some rhodium trim. The section diameter on here is great. I usually like a section between 10 and 12 millimeters. Usually, I mean, like 11 is kind of perfect, I think. And this goes up to about 11 where it hits the section. So this is down close to the nib. This is up closer to the section. There's a slight increase. And as I said, this is numbered but not limited edition. And here's the misrip down here, the 240 and 192. And that's just for the Oshino, as I said. And that's, those prices vary all over the place. All right. So compared to some other pens, there we go. Shake them down. It is a very common size of pen, as you can see here. The Ondoro is a bit of a shorty. It's got probably, I don't know, 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch shorter than the rest of these. And the number 2, the Model 2 from Franklin Christoph, is a little bit taller than all the rest. But this is a very common sort of size, right about the same size as the Lamy 2000, just about the same size as the Custom 74, around the same size as the Diplomat Arrow. So solid size, I think, all around. Let's go ahead and gear up for a writing sample, and I will be right back. Okay, so this is the, let's go here, Platinum 3776 Oshino. This is a broad nib. And the ink is Robert Oster. Melon tea. And as you can see, there's a little bit of an almost a skip here. It's pretty dry. That's because I've been waving this around for a good like 20 minutes with the cap off. So it recovered very quickly. I don't get hard starts from this unless I'm doing a review, in which case I do because I'm waving it around, and nobody waves their pen around with the cap off for like 20 minutes in real life. So let's do some quick squiggles. No problems at all. Kind of wiggling my camera a little bit. Ugh. All right. As far as line variation, you're not going to really find any. This is a round nibbed pen. So that's not particularly surprising. There is, however, a good amount of tipping on here, and you probably could get it ground if you wanted to. I think it would be a nice little stub if you want to do something like that, or italic if you're into that kind of jazz. But I really just like the round nib just fine. It has no problems with keeping up with flow or looking cool. You don't get any weird edges. It's nice and defined. This is a very nice writer, just like all the rest of the Platinum nibs. I don't have any others inked up at the moment. In fact, the only two I have inked with me right now are both broads, so that wouldn't give you any indication of nib variation. Maybe bad planning on my part, but whatever. We'll do some of those others later. This has been the Platinum 3776 Oshino. Go over to Goldspot. That is goldspot.com. There you go. And thanks for sending this out for review, Tom. I appreciate it. I love this pen, and I think y'all will too. The Platinums keep coming out in new and better variations, and I hope that doesn't ever stop because, man, these are cool pens. So that's it for now. I'm Mike. This is Ink Dependence. Thank you to all my patrons and patronettes out there who are helping me bring cool stuff to this blog. If you get this from Goldspot, tell them I sent you, and I will see y'all later. Peace out. Shh! Clubsy! Clipsy! Shush! Shush! I'll play with you soon.